Welcome to Money Decoded, where we break down personal finance, one concept at a time. Let's decode today's topic. You're making credit card mistakes right now. I know because almost everyone does. Some of these mistakes seem harmless. Others actually feel like smart financial moves. But each one is quietly costing you money, damaging your credit score, or both. Today, we're exposing the 5 most common credit card mistakes and showing you exactly how to fix them. I've talked to financial advisors, studied the data, and analyzed my own past mistakes to compile this list. Some of these will seem obvious once you hear them. Others might genuinely surprise you. Number 3 trips up even people who consider themselves financially savvy. Here's what we're covering. The 5 credit card mistakes that cost Americans billions annually. Why each mistake is more damaging than it appears, and the specific fixes that protect your money and your credit score. Let's decode the mistakes you need to stop making immediately. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. This content is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. Please consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any financial decisions. Mistake number 1. Paying only the minimum payment. We touched on this in a previous episode, but it deserves emphasis here because it remains the single most expensive mistake credit card users make. The minimum payment is not a suggested payment. It's the absolute smallest amount the credit card company will accept while still considering your account current. The minimum payment is mathematically engineered to keep you in debt as long as possible while maximizing interest revenue for the card issuer. On a $5,000 balance at 24% APR, paying only the minimum means you'll take over 18 years to become debt-free. You'll pay more than $6,000 in interest on top of your original $5,000. That's more than double what you originally borrowed. The fix is straightforward. Always pay more than the minimum. Even an extra $50 monthly makes a dramatic difference. If you can't pay the full balance, pay as much as you possibly can. Treat minimum payments as emergency-only options, not your standard approach. Set up auto-pay for the full statement balance whenever financially possible. Mistake number 2. Maxing out your credit cards. Spending up to your credit limit feels logical. That's the limit, right? That's what you're approved for. But using all your available credit devastates your credit score through something called credit utilization ratio. Credit utilization measures how much of your available credit you're currently using. If you have a $10,000 limit and carry a $5,000 balance, your utilization is 50%. This single factor accounts for 30% of your entire credit score. High utilization signals to lenders that you're potentially overextended and risky. The scoring impact is significant. Utilization over 30% starts hurting your score noticeably. Over 50% causes serious damage. Over 75% is considered severely negative. Maxing out your cards can drop your score by 50 points or more almost instantly. The fix requires keeping utilization under 30% at all times, ideally under 10% for optimal scoring. If you need to make a large purchase, pay it down before your statement closes so the lower balance gets reported to the credit bureaus. Or request a credit limit increase to lower your utilization ratio without changing your spending habits at all. Mistake number 3. Closing old credit cards. This one surprises people because it feels like responsible behavior. You have a card you don't use anymore. Maybe it has an annual fee you don't want to pay. Closing it seems tidy and logical. But closing old cards can seriously damage your credit score in 2 different ways. First, closing a card reduces your total available credit, which increases your utilization ratio on remaining cards. If you have 2 cards with $5,000 limits each and you're carrying a $2,000 balance, your utilization is 20%. Close one card, and that same balance now represents 40% utilization. Your score drops without any change in your actual spending behavior. Second, closing old accounts eventually removes them from your credit history, reducing the average age of your accounts. Length of credit history makes up 15% of your score. That card you've had since college is adding years of positive history to your credit profile. The fix is to keep old cards open whenever possible, especially your oldest accounts. If there's an annual fee, call the issuer and ask to downgrade to a no-fee version instead of closing entirely. Use old cards occasionally to keep them active. Most issuers close inactive accounts after 12 to 24 months, so set a reminder to use each card at least once or twice per year. Mistake number 4. Ignoring your credit card statements. How carefully do you review your monthly statement? If you're like most people, you glance at the total, maybe check that it seems roughly right, and move on. This casual approach costs people money every single month. Billing errors happen more frequently than you might expect. Merchants sometimes charge incorrect amounts. Subscriptions you canceled continue billing. Fraudulent charges appear from data breaches. Without careful review, these errors go unnoticed and unchallenged. Beyond errors, statements reveal spending patterns you might not recognize otherwise. That streaming service you forgot about. The gym membership you haven't used in months. These small recurring charges add up to hundreds of dollars annually for things you don't use or even remember signing up for. The fix requires actually reading your statement each month. Go line by line through every charge. Verify amounts match your receipts. Flag anything unfamiliar for investigation. Cancel subscriptions you're not actively using. This monthly ritual takes 15 minutes and can save hundreds of dollars yearly. Mistake number 5. Applying for too many cards at once. Credit card sign-up bonuses are genuinely valuable. 50,000 points here, 75,000 points there. It's tempting to apply for several cards simultaneously to capture multiple bonuses. But this strategy often backfires badly. Each credit card application triggers a hard inquiry on your credit report. One inquiry might cost you 3 to 5 points. But 4 or 5 applications in a short period can drop your score by 15 to 25 points combined. Worse, lenders see multiple recent applications as a red flag suggesting financial desperation or overextension. Additionally, multiple new accounts lower your average account age significantly. If you have 3 cards averaging 8 years old and suddenly open 3 new cards, your average age drops to 4 years. That reduction affects 15% of your credit score calculation. The fix is strategic patience. Space credit card applications at least 3 to 6 months apart. Apply only for cards you genuinely need and will use long-term. Before applying, check if you're likely to be approved using pre-qualification tools that don't affect your score. If you're planning a major purchase requiring good credit, avoid all new credit applications for at least 6 months beforehand. Now let me share a bonus mistake that ties everything together: not having a system. The people who manage credit cards successfully don't rely on memory or willpower. They have systems in place. Autopay for full balances. Calendar reminders for statement reviews. Alerts for unusual charges. Without systems, you're relying on consistently making good decisions while juggling everything else in your life. Eventually, something slips. You forget a payment. You miss a fraudulent charge. You let utilization creep too high. Systems catch these mistakes before they become costly problems. Building your system doesn't require complexity. Start with autopay for full statement balances on every card. Add calendar reminders to review statements monthly. Set up credit monitoring alerts through your bank or a free service. Create a simple list of all your cards with their credit limits and any annual fee due dates. These basic elements prevent the majority of costly mistakes. Take inventory of your current credit card habits right now. Which of these 5 mistakes are you making? Most people are guilty of at least 2 or 3. Pick the one costing you the most money or doing the most damage to your score. Fix that one completely before moving to the next. Now, next time on Money Decoded, we're diving deep into balance transfers. When they save you thousands, when they make things worse, and the fine print traps that catch people every single day. If you're carrying high-interest debt, this episode could change everything. 5 mistakes. Billions of dollars lost across American households. Make sure you're not contributing to that number anymore. And that's how this works. If this helped you understand money better, subscribe for weekly financial deep dives. Thanks for watching.